Inside Leominster is brought to you through the generous support of Colonial Insulation Company, residential and commercial insulation and fireproofing services, specializing in blown-in cellulose as well as spray foam insulation. For more information, visit their website, colonialinsulation.com.
Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarola, Mayor for the City of Leominster, and we have a good show tonight. Lots to catch up on, lots going on at this time of the year. In the winter months, we use it for planning, strategically planning what we'll do in the kind weather. And then off we go to construction season, and it goes quick, and before long we're putting those plows on. I know it sounds crazy, but it doesn't take long. So we get as much done, but that can only come by good planning. Anyway, no stranger to the show, and one of the most sought after and requested. It's time for the Art Report.
Requested by who? I don't owe anybody money. It can't be them.
No, everybody wants to know about art.
Yeah.
When
Well,
you
I
come-
tell you, last night was a wonderful time at your election fundraiser.
Thank you.
Lovely lady on your arm.
Thank you.
Good for you, good for her. Wonderful couple.
Thank you.
And on the way out the door, I met Councilman Bonanza. Had a nice chat with Frankie Ben
Yeah.
Razi,
Yeah.
my savior at Johnny Appleseed.
That's right.
And then I had a nice, funny little gab with your assistant from the office. She came over and we talked, and she said, we were talking about me as a crossing guard. She wanted me to feel a little younger, so she was telling me that the kids I used to cross for her children, are in college.
Wow.
So
See
that
that?
made me feel ancient,
That's nothing.
but that's okay. That's okay. And the weather, are you serious? You know, I was thinking how you have that lifeguard that sinks into the water and the money.
Put them back out there.
Try to raise some money for the heating for the winter. Maybe we should have it for how many days we will have sun this year. And
I don't
the winter
mind.
gets a little money, and the money goes towards the thing. It's crazy out here.
It would be nice to see the sun. Now you know how people feel in Seattle or London.
You know how many times I've had that actual thought process when I was
Yeah.
teeing up my golf ball?
Yeah.
I mean, I pull in every day at the golf course. George Fiore's up there waiting for me, and he holds his palms up as if to say, "What the bleep?" And I know.
Yeah.
You know, it's a summer sport. Sun. You don't need any sunblock, that's for sure.
I promise you, sun.
But that's
Hot-
about it.
Hot down summer in the city. Hey, Friday nights back down at Kimball's.
Yes.
Let me know when all your buddies go down. I went down one week. It's the only week I had. I had a couple, maybe an hour and a half, and I went there, and it hadn't started yet. I'm like, I'm early. I'm actually early this year.
It started last Friday.
I know. And last week we had the White Cross ceremony, and then something
And I
after
didn't
that.
go. I'm just waiting for it to warm up a little.
Yeah.
A lot of them. That's another event that it's a weekly event, but it is also weather depending, especially if it's going to be misty or anything like that.
A little misty
A lot of
blow.
these guys are in fuel injection with the tubes coming out of the motor. You can't have water going in there.
Well, it
a
says-
lot of them don't want to get dirty.
It says
So-
75 and sunny tomorrow. Clear,
that's perfect.
Clear tomorrow night. Graduation day, 76. Perfect. Partly cloudy, sunshine and clouds mixed. A stray shower or a thunderstorm is possible in the afternoon or at night, but nothing to worry about. And then Sunday, afternoon thunderstorm, 77 degrees. So if you've got some, if you're planning on a wedding or some sort of a graduation party, this looks like the weekend. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
It
Other
is.
than that, any news about if it's permits holding things up about the Sunoco? Are they going to rebuild on 13th from the fire?
I believe they are. They got a demolition permit, obviously, to tear down.
Yeah,
and
that's gone
and
now.
they move quickly on that. And thanks to them, for not leaving that as an eyesore. We're working on Lincoln Terrace and then also on Mechanic and Whitney Street with two buildings that caught fire a while ago, more than a year ago, and nothing's been done. And sometimes people get in these battles with these insurance companies, but in the meantime, the rest of the city's got to look at it, and the neighbors got to look at it. So we're going to do
by the one on McConnell Mechanic in Middle Street.
That's
there.
the one.
Yeah, I've been by it, and I look at it and I say, what a shame.
So we sent a
What are
letter.
they waiting on?
We sent the registered letter, and nobody's picked them up yet. And so we will do a structural survey, which is, I think, a fire department, the building inspector, and a structural engineer. Determine whether it's safe or not. If it's not, then we notify the owner to make it structurally safe. If they don't within, 60, 90 days, then we go in, we tear it down, we put a lien on the property, and as soon as somebody buys it or sells it or settles with the insurance company. But it's a lot more costly for us to tear it down than them. So I don't know what they're waiting for, but anyway, we're moving forward with demolition.
Yeah, I'm surprised stuff. But maybe you have gotten complaints about stuff flying off with the wind we've had.
Sure, and the winters.
There's a lot of damage to one side of that building.
Right,
That,
right.
The wind's got to be blowing through there, and
It
the
does.
rain, and boy, oh boy.
So you can't just tear a building down, no matter how unsafe it is. There's a process to follow. If you don't, you can find yourself in trouble. But we often use it and put a lien on the property, or sometimes the owner finally says, all right, I'm done messing with the insurance company. I'll move forward and tear it down. And
I certainly wouldn't want to be living next door.
No, and it's right on the main road going into the city, and would they want it next to their home, right? Whoever owns the property. It clearly doesn't live there, right?
Yep. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yes.
Okay, my friend.
Hey, good days to get out there and start whacking them.
Oh, we played today.
Good.
I had a all-time record for me today. Had a wonderful round of golf.
Well, there you go. It wasn't a bad day. It didn't rain. The sun came out here and there.
Yeah, it was cloudy. It was misty up in Gardner because you're up on that mountain, you know. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
A bad day of golf better than no golf at all.
Oh, better than work.
That's right.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
See you later.
Over and out.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling. That's the Art Report. Have a lot to talk about tonight. Have a couple of guests coming on about the library outreach in the community. And we'll take a short break. We'll be right back, and we'll have more of Inside Leominster.
Should I get a new one?
Ron Gerard from the Leominster Historical Commission. You can hear band music in the background, so we know it's going to be close.
15 minutes or a couple of different. We're back, but hold on.
All right.
I'm in a discussion. So a couple of sessions of reading on the radio at night, maybe some celebrity readers,
that would
little
be
short
great.
stories that kids could either read along with. Anyway,
Yeah.
they're listening to our discussion
Yeah.
here. Anyway, we're
Literacy
back.
is great for the community.
Yes, we're live. It's Inside Leominster. You can watch us streaming. You can go to the Facebook page and click on leominster.tv and go to the Facebook page and just whatever's showing at that moment, you'll get to see. And I forget where I was the other day. I was at another appointment on Monday night and Tuesday night. And wanted to kind of tune into the city council meeting, and I had a couple minutes, and zip, I went online. I'm like, I can't believe I'm watching the city council meeting on my phone. Just incredible. So if you're watching either locally or far away, welcome to the show. We meet here every Thursday night. We're live. We try to bring the show on the road as many times as we can to share with you. For those that maybe can't get out, Ron Gerard was at Memorial Day, and again, for those veterans and their families that maybe, or somebody living far away, wanted to participate but couldn't, maybe they're ill, not feeling well, they could watch Ron Gerard filmed it, and you just saw a piece of it, right, John? Right, Ron? You just saw a little piece of it, and so you get to share the experience and hear some of the speakers, and it's almost like you're there. 978-537-7760. That's the number to call. My two guests, Marissa and Mei Lee. Marissa is no stranger to the show. We've had you on before. And Mei Lee, they're both valued employees of the Leominster Public Library, recognizable faces, friendly faces.
Yes.
And we do. We've always had a long-standing gift of having great staff at the public library.
It's true.
Always. And I think anybody that's worked there isn't just I think I'll just apply at the library. It's passion. It's, oh my word, what great to work at the public library.
And Maylee's worked there for a lot longer than I have.
200
And
years,
so,
I thought.
Yeah.
Something like that. 10 years?
When I
10 years?
17.
17. How did that happen?
yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Were you hiding for the first 7? Because, no, that is amazing, huh? It just goes by so
Right.
quickly.
Yeah, but anybody who's come up to the second floor of the library will probably recognize Mei Lee.
Yes, they do.
Yes, yes. And we're here to talk about a special program that Mei Lee got into the library.
I heard.
Actually. Yeah.
I saw. Cool.
Well, we were lucky to get a
June.
grant from the Massachusetts Foundation for the Humanities, and it's called the Chinese and Iron Road Project. So it's in conjunction with the 150th anniversary of the completion of the first transcontinental railroad.
That's amazing, huh?
Yeah.
Think of some of the things that were built and how they affect us
Right.
today. I mean, built 150 years ago.
Yeah.
And how we move things from goods and from one country, one place, by ship, and the railroad that was so important. It's still vital today.
Right.
In fact, it's becoming even more vital because I remember going to a meeting not long ago, and people talking about using rail more often. But what they were saying is, you never know where your product is on the rail. Well, now there's, GPS. It could tell you in a split second where your product is.
Right, yeah. And I bet a lot of people would be surprised to learn that there were Chinese workers working on the railroads.
Right.
I was telling Mei Lee
Why is
earlier.
that so, though? What
I know, right?
What was the
Well-
what was the labor force? Why the Chinese?
Well, I was just telling Mei Lee earlier that I remember the first time I read East of Eden
Right.
by John Steinbeck, and there's a Chinese character in there, and I was like, what's a Chinese character doing in a
Right.
book about the American West? But it turns out that if you look at any history of the American West that doesn't have Chinese people, it's incorrect
Right,
because
right,
they've been here
right.
for a very, very long
And
time.
that is very interesting. You
Yeah.
should say that because now, as I
Yeah.
think back, even in the movies, there was always had a Chinese.
Right. They've been here
present-
for a long time.
Right.
So they've contributed to a lot of things that are stereotypically American and
Right.
to a lot of things that the country depends on today. So in addition to the like building the railroad, there's also going to be a lot of programs.
Imagine today
about-
they can't get these things done. Seriously, our infrastructure is falling apart. Nobody can seem to get in there and put a plan together, and they did the Transcontinental Railroad.
Right, all
Just
the way across
incredible.
the entire country.
It's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
Eisenhower and building these roadways, and now everything's crumbling along, and everybody fights. And I got to think for Congress now. I think so. What I think they should do is all their investigations in the morning, right, and then have like a couple hours of lunch during the day, and then they have to work in the afternoon, like, pick up things that need to get done. So
Yeah.
they could do their things in the morning, and in the afternoon is a little nap, maybe roll out the little rugs there and let them take a nap, get something to eat, and then in the afternoon, start talking about a transportation bill.
I thought maybe you were going to say that Congress should be doing the labor. Like they should get out
Well,
there and
I don't know if I
start
want 'em.
rebuilding those bridges.
I don't know if I want them on the labor part, but if they could sit down and work with the president, get everybody together,
Yeah.
roll up the little, everybody take a nap, get some food, a little caffeine, and sit down and kind of work. But it is amazing, and so I can't wait to see this display. So start in June 1st.
Right? You've got the
Well,
dates on this?
the exhibit is in transit now, so
Okay.
we should get it within the week.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal because it was put together by the Chinese Historical Society of America and the Chinese Railroad Workers in North America project that's at Stanford University. So that it's going to give the historical overview of the Chinese workforce at the time, which at its peak, it numbered more than 13,000. And they were instrumental in building the nation's first transcontinental railroad by clearing and grading the roadbed
By hand.
by hand, yeah, the hand tools,
Yeah,
yes,
right.
blasting tunnels and laying tracks. And to get back to your question about why Chinese, because the workers they were hiring before, they were also they hear about the gold mines. There were
Gold rush, yeah,
the gold rush and the mine strikes, and then so they earned enough money to get paid that they could go and buy the supplies and head to the mine. So they were having a really tough time to hiring the labor in terms of they have to meet a deadline also
Sure.
when the railroad had to be built.
So there's a connection. Somebody had some contact and were able to work to bring the Chinese labor force here, and off they went.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
huge part of the project. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see this. So
Right.
you'll let us know exactly when it gets in, if it's in transit now.
Yeah, it's in
when
transit now.
Yeah.
So
Once
yeah.
it's all set up,
Yeah,
let
and
us
then
know.
in addition to the actual exhibition, which will be up all month, there's 4 programs, one every single Wednesday, to give more
posted that.
context. Yeah.
Yes. That'll be really fun. I mean, it's so much history.
Yeah, yeah.
What else is going on at the library? Tonight is, actually they're showing a movie now, right?
They're showing a movie right now, yeah. If you're trying to get in, you should park across the street at
City Hall.
At City Hall, because there's no more parking at the
Taking
library.
Change, inspired by true events.
Yeah.
Taking Chance, Taking Chance, I'm sorry.
Taking chance.
Volunteers to escort 19-year-old Lance Corporal Chance Phillips, killed during active duty in Iraq on his final journey home. And Strob's mission is to ensure that his fallen brother is laid to rest with all the proper respect and honor. His journey leads to the greatest awareness of the great sacrifices made by those who serve, as well as their families and loved ones. It's rated PG. It's at the library right now, so
Yeah.
back up. and
Good
down.
activity to tail Memorial Day weekend.
It really is.
Yeah.
And thanks to New Life Care Center up on West Street, they put on a very nice breakfast at the Veteran Center the other day. So,
Yeah.
one good thing is everybody sort of contributes here in town. They
Yes.
really do. They might do this event, maybe one of the other care centers do something else, assisted living. Everybody seems to do something, and it's kind of like a big family, right? Everybody pitches in,
Yeah.
and the job gets done.
Which is what I'm looking forward to at Summer Stroll, too.
Yes.
The library will be at Summer Stroll. That's only like a week and a half away.
It's only
So,
a day away.
Yeah, it's
right?
pretty soon,
Like
June
Annie,
8th.
It's only
yeah.
a day away.
It's only a day away.
So we were talking, you caught us chatting coming into back from the commercial. And so Scholastic, they do all the little, they sell books and everything. And so for them, I mean, they're in the business like Hallmark. I don't know if you've read or heard, but people are not doing greeting cards in the same way that they used to. Now, if you're sending out one of those e-cards, like those, probably go down to the card store and get a card.
Right.
There's nothing worse than getting an e-card, one of those, happy holidays, and somebody hit a button and it went through all the mailing list and just sent them out to people, right?
What if it has a cute elf animation video
I'm
on it,
better
though?
with that. Yeah. But it lacks the I'm thinking of you.
Right.
It's like I'm sending you something funny. I'm really not sure where this is going or to who it's going, but it's going to all our customers. Thank you, right? There's
Yeah.
just too many customers. We couldn't write it all out. But so we're sending this to let you know we're thinking about you. I hope you enjoy it, right? I'm fine with that. But anyway, people are not getting greeting cards anymore. They're not sending them out. They're not buying them. But I get cards, handwritten cards. I have a handwritten little note here from kids that came to see me from Samoset. And I get handwritten cards quite often. Cards, letters, some of like 2 and 3 pages.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so Scholastic, getting back before I go off to the Intercontinental Railroad here, is that Scholastic put out a report not long ago, within the last month, and it said it's called Decline by 9. And what it means is, the report says, and I'll summarize it, is that kids read, and you read to the child from birth all the way up, and then around 9, they peak, and for some reason they stop reading. I don't know if you noticed this at the library or not, because I don't know if it's more of a boy-girl thing. I haven't done the study on it, but I saw a family the other day, and I see it quite often. There's usually a young lady walking around while they're all reading. She can't wait till she gets to that spot. Maybe it's just crossing the street and they're waiting for the light, and they just hold this thing like, how people check their Facebook or their email every, like every second they've got. She just ripped this book open and just started reading. If she could get a page in, she was happy. And that's a good thing, but for some reason it's declined by 9. And so as a community, we're going to build a group of good critical thinkers over the summer, and begin to work on how can we, with all of that's being done everywhere by everybody, how can we get students to keep reading?
Right. And it might be making it more fun, or doing it in places that you don't normally do it. We have the beautiful new park on Mechanic Street. Great place for an outdoor story time, for sure. Yeah.
And I think part of the problem might be that parents maybe overemphasize the reading. My daughter's reading at the 9th grade level and she's in the 5th grade. Okay. And sometimes parents might, guilty as charged, parents might see their children reading, they might be, 10 years old, but they're reading a book that, a 7 or 8-year-old would be reading.
Sure.
So what? They're reading, right?
The other thing,
They're
parents,
reading.
is that kids emulate their parents. So if their parents are spending all day just scrolling through Facebook,
They will too.
the kids are not going to pick up a book if that's not what mom and dad are doing. So
we've gotta-
parents, you can emulate the behavior you want your
And
kids to have.
you don't always have to be reading books. There are other things to read at the
Magazines,
library.
newspapers, graphic novels,
We've
all
got
of
the
that
biggest.
is
I
fair game.
told you last time you were here. We have the largest magazine section anywhere.
Yeah.
For those that like to. Not everybody. Everybody thinks that everybody will read a magazine online. Well, it's
Yeah.
one of the few things. Even that I haven't had much time to do, but it's one of the few things that I still like to read.
Absolutely.
Actually holding it. That.
And graphic novels are great. They're actually tougher to read than some straight novels, because there's a lot of information happening in the image and the drawing in addition to the text. And like
Yes.
being able to put those things together
like
is
a
actually a
giant
high
comic book.
form of literacy.
And comic books.
Yeah.
What's
Yep.
wrong with reading
Exactly.
comic books?
Yeah.
So we've got to, as a community, find more ways. So one of the ways might be sort of reading here on our cable show. We just spend, 5 or 10 minutes reading a short story on our show. And we're lining up some people to read if we could do it 7 days a week, we'll pick one time of the day, maybe it's 7 o'clock at night, kids are showered, they eat the grilled cheese, and they're in their jammies, and now it's time to maybe have some celebrity guests read, and maybe they're just short stories or little poems or whatever that might. There's so much content.
Yeah.
And
Or
if
you invite a kid to read on your show,
Yes,
I would tune
same
into
thing.
that.
Same thing. So if anybody's interested in helping us out, there's no pay involved. You don't get a company car. You don't get a cell phone. But you get to sit with a great group of people and become great thinkers that do
Yeah.
nothing but think all day.
Right.
So you get a degree in thinkology, like in The Wizard of Oz. He gave a degree.
So the Scarecrow guy?
Don't you remember that? So,
That's what he got, this
A
thinkology?
degree in thinkology.
All right.
There are people
It's
that
the
do nothing
foundation of
but
democracy.
sit around all day and think. We call them good deed doers. That's what it was.
That's
good deed
right.
doers. And I now present to you the doctorate's degree in thinkology.
Thinkology.
Right? That's all you needed, and then all of a sudden you knew the square root of, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what we hope to do, but library is not quite at all. It's always busy. I'm
Sure
always
is.
impressed when people are in there for a function and they say, I can't believe how many people come to the library. We thought nobody came to the library anymore. That's not
Couldn't
the
be
case.
further from the truth.
No, and you adapt all the time. It's always changing to meet the community needs, and it's a busy place no matter
It
where
is.
you are.
Yeah,
And,
that's right.
So thank you, ladies. As soon as the exhibit comes in, maybe we can get Ron to come out, and maybe we'll do our show from the library once the exhibit comes.
Oh, that'd be
That would be
great.
fantastic.
And we could do it live,
Yeah.
and we can do it right from there, and that would generate some interest.
Absolutely.
And I think people, sometimes you got to give them the teaser. Like, you could talk about it, but then if they see, you give them little hints to it, it's like, I got to get down to see that.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you said there's a number of activities that are going to go along with it.
That's right.
So,
All right.
I don't
Well,
know if we
thank you
have
so
them
much
here.
for having
Hey,
us.
Good to see you, ladies.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work over there, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we're
Come
gonna
down
take
to
a
the
sh-
library.
No, come on down. And you've been doing the outreach. That's why I say it's
Yeah.
just a busy place. Summer's coming, so we're going to encourage kids not to put the book down. And the other thing I think that's critical is the mandatory summer reading, which kids just, at the end of the year, I'll tease them and say, how's the summer reading coming? They're like, oh, it
Yeah.
shouldn't be that way. So like, find something you love to read. How can we trick kids into finding something they love to read? They'll read the book. They'll get all excited about it. They want to engage with other students.
And they get prizes for doing
Yes.
the summer reading at the library.
That's right.
That's right.
So-
So bribe them. We're all about it.
That's it. Thank you, ladies. Taking a short break, and we'll be back with photos of the week. Great job. Nice job, Ron. Nice job. And Carl and Tina were up there in the mobile LTV unit, as well as Ronnie Gerard, and put that together. And it was just, you couldn't have called it perfect, any more perfect, because they have to pick a day for the Apple Blossom Festival early on. So they kind of predict, based on past blossoms and when did they peak. And there have been a few years we had the festival with no blossoms. So they did a great job this year. It all turned out well. We had a beautiful day, lots and lots of people. Joanne Donato and the entire volunteer staff up at Shoreland Farms had a big smile on their face. And everybody was happy. We had a great time, met a lot of new people. Took a lot of pictures, bought some things, listened to the International Veterans Chorus, as well as the Songbirds. Got a chance to walk around, talk to some of the vendors. and then off to another event. I don't remember which one it was, but it's just a busy time of the year. We'll talk a little bit about Memorial Day, but I do want to give a special thanks to Bruce Coulter, Rick Marchand, and Ronnie Gerard, who all took an array of photos and then shared them later. I'm not a good photographer. I can't take good pictures, and I either forget sometimes or just, I could be standing in the same spot as Ronnie or Bruce Coulter or Rick Marchand, standing right next to them and take a picture, and it's not great, and theirs are remarkable. So anyway, thanks to them for capturing those special moments at our Memorial Day exercises. Excuse me. Let's do photos of the week. Why not? Let's go down to Mechanic Street, show you the progress if you haven't been by. Pretty much everything is in now. Everything was hydro-seeded, the plants are put in, flagpole is in, just waiting for National Grid to hook up the lighting, and we're ready to open. Grass is taken pretty well. No shortage of rain or wet soil down there. Fallbrook paid a visit to us. We had fun. We tell a little story and a couple little stories beforehand, and then they break up into sessions and they go off with our local historians, and they give them some behind the scenes, things that people have lived here all their life don't know about, and what some of the monuments downtown and some of the buildings really mean. They visit the library and the Historic Society, as well as police and fire departments, and I think they go over to Carter Park as well. They come back if it's raining and then eat at the auditorium at City Hall. There's our International Veterans Chorus at White Cross Ceremony. They were magnificent. They did such a great job for us that night. A little cool that night, a little windy, but it was a nice Friday night. And, you have to be a veteran to sing, and they're always looking for volunteers. Stop down. It's a great group of people. Men and women, it's nothing you have to be hesitant about or feel like, well, I don't really know anybody there. You'll leave that night, the first rehearsal, thinking, I think I know everybody here, I'm just not sure how. And there's our first farmers market. We had quite a few vendors, quite a few people stopped by, and we'll have many more through the season, but we're back outdoors. It wasn't the worst winter, but it wasn't the warmest winter either. And, what we did get hung around, or we had that, it snowed and iced and then it melted. And then towards the end of the year, it actually is when it sticks the most and it takes the longest to get rid of. Memorial Day procession, again, there we are coming down past St. Leo's. And it's really, instead of a parade, we call it a procession. It's really what it is. And started off a little, there wasn't as many people at the very beginning, but it seemed like everybody congregated after the railroad tracks downtown. And I think we gave out close to over 550 flags, and then there was somebody else giving them out. So whoever we didn't hand one to, they did. So I'm sure, we were close to 1,000 people that were down there in all of our Memorial Day exercises. Kudos to the Leominster High School Marching Band. Never miss one of our events when it's for veterans and those veterans that have passed or their families. Our Scouts, couldn't do without them. Scouts are very active here in the city of Leominster, a number of different groups, and anniversary coming up very soon. I think there'll be festivities and displays at Carter Park very soon. I'll look for the date. If somebody knows, you can text me, email, or call the show and let us know. That would be helpful. But anyway, thank you to our scouting groups for always helping out the community and being there for all of our events. And again, there's just so many people that came. And we were pleased. And you know what? Veterans, families, there were a couple of POW wives that were there, Mrs. Tabero and also Legay. Both of them were there, and it's a tribute to them and all the families who lost loved ones who are our veterans, and that's what Memorial Day is all about. And there's our Gold Star and Blue Star mothers, and an integral part to giving back here in the city of Leominster. We thank them. And let's not forget the 15th and the Franco Vet Honor Guard Salute group that comes again to all of our events, and there they are together doing the rifle salute. Celebrating the USA, there we are. As I said, we gave out over 550 flags, but there were others giving out. We do that every year since Jonathan Rolberg passed away Pauline Robridge and I pass out flags through the procession route. And this year, we're just, between all the groups, I'll bet you it was close to 1,000. And thanks again to our Veterans Breakfast sponsors. That's the new Life Care Center up on West Street. And again, what a great job they did. What a breakfast. Next time, we'll try to get the word out a little sooner. And there's our offices, Contoys and DePaula, over there at socializing with some of the future law enforcement, public safety officials of the future. And good to see them, and great to see the community outreach. And today, just a couple of hours ago, was the Leominster Center for Excellence graduation, and that's at City Hall. And we love having people use City Hall. We just absolutely love it. For whatever it is, you would be amazed at how many times a week, people day and night, mornings, that people use City Hall, and we'd love to share it. There it is, the Shoreland Farms Blossom Fest. Again, I think this is probably our most successful in terms of revenue, but also the amount of people who attended. And we have a great group of volunteers, but we always need more volunteers. And you might think, nobody needs my particular set of skills. With a big operation like that, I guarantee you they do. And here we are this morning. We narrowed down the project managers. There were probably 20 that we started with. We narrowed them down to 3, brought them in for interviews, and there's our building committee there taking notes and interacting with questions. Each are allowed a 15-minute presentation, and the rest of the hour is filled with questions, and a lot of good questions. And it's a really good group represented by not only law enforcement people, but dispatchers, city councilors, former city councilors, community representatives, people with financial backgrounds, people with construction background, commercial construction background, and it's a really good group, and it's helpful to have that diverse group of people with a diverse group of talents. So we did hire somebody today. We will sit down and negotiate a contract with them, and then go back. We'll get going right away with demolition of the buildings on site. They'll Lincoln School, and we'll get going. Oil tank removal, asbestos has been done, and we'll keep, one of the first things we'll do is set up a website and keep people up to date if they want to find out what's going on in the project. And that's our photos of the week. Hey, listen, if you want to give us a buzz, 978-537-7777 is the number to call here, extension 77760, extension 3, and give us a buzz. I hope that everything that I cover are the questions that you might want to know about and some of the projects that we're working on. Where have we been lately? We had a pavement meeting with the DPW last week. These are about all the coming projects. We're going to double the amount of projects that we've done in the past. We've done a little over $1 million a year in paving. We're going to double that this year. We also went to LCU, Leominster Credit Union, where they did Build-A-Bed project. It is amazing. They actually build these beds, and they go to a number of different agencies. And it might be for some reason that there's a foster child situation where they have to take a child from their home, where they need to temporarily go to a foster home. These beds are pre-made. They can pop them up in minutes, and the kids get their own bed instead of sleeping on the couch or on one of those air mattresses, et cetera. So thanks to Leominster Credit Union, all their partners for doing this. And this is they did 2 sessions that day. They've done 1 in the last year. And I think this will be an ongoing process because, unfortunately, even though they do thousands of beds in Massachusetts where they've got these different groups like Leominster Credit Union, they can't keep up with the demand. We did the Apple Blossom Festival. Betty Ingerson, 103 years old, over at the high-rise at 100 Main Street. Went there on a Saturday, had a beautiful party, her friends. Sharp woman. And I actually have a couple pictures on my camera. I'll pop them up for you next week. We've been doing budget meetings with department heads in the city. We went to our MassDOT board meeting, which is held on Mondays. And it's really an honor to be on the MassDOT board. As a director, we take on projects that are multi-tens of millions, some in the billions. I think it gives us opportunity. One of the things and the reasons why I was, I think, chosen to be on it is I was always, I don't want to say complaining, but lobbying and advocating for projects west of Boston, west of 495, that all the big projects and all the big money seem to be going there. So I think the governor, lieutenant governor heard enough from me about that, and the secretary, and when there were vacancies on the board and they took office, they said, okay, Mazzarella, always lobbying, always speaking to and advocating to projects in this side of 495 and 128, here's your chance. So my new role is to look at all the projects across the state, but it's my chance to sort of promote what's going on here in North Central Massachusetts. I think I've done a good job of that. I think we've brought some money out this way. I think we've had better response in terms of MassDOT, but we've always had a great relationship with MassDOT. We've always worked well with them. We're sort of like a partner with them, and we always have been. And it's a real team effort. Our team and their team is one big team. So we have our meeting once a month, sometimes twice a month. And we also did our school committee meeting. And we'll have another one coming up next week. We did the Fallbrook tour at City Hall, the ribbon cutting at Tequero El Amigo, and we had a technical review for several projects. Before projects go to the planning board or any other board and commission in the city, they come to what we call a technical review. That's all the departments, inspectors in the city, DPW officials, engineers, and we all meet to go over the project. It's really, in a lot of cases, people that might be thinking of doing the project. We inspire them and really ask them to come to our technical reviews so we can speak to them about sort of the heads up. It's not to have government sort of come stampeding down on them. It's really an opportunity to meet with them and talk about some of the things that they might not know exist in and around their projects. And it really helps to kind of facilitate and make it a lot more productive and save them lots of money before they get too far into the process. We had our MAB meeting down to Cape this year. It's a 2-day conference with mayors from across the state. It was really, really helpful this year. They had a lot of good speakers there that talked about social media, what to do in a crisis, when your city gets a crisis. We've had our share. Lowell had theirs most recently. A couple of communities went to sections of the state who share water resources, went to a boil-only warning system. So they had to put it out there to everybody that gets near their water, that they had to boil the water before they used it for anything. And again, crisis will happen. Isn't always in the same spot. It's not always all for the same reason, but things happen, and it's all about how to deal with them. And I think we've been pretty successful here in the city about when there is a crisis on how we deal with that crisis. Then we did the White Cross ceremony, Memorial Day, Veterans Community Breakfast, the spaghetti supper last night. Ran out 2 and 3 times. Thank you for all those that could attend. And it does bring me to this point. There don't seem to be those events in town. And so we have the events that kind of bring people together and you walk by. There don't seem to be those as like social events. There aren't those social groups anymore that people once did, and as many coffee shops and places. People just don't have the time. And so I think we'll expand on that. Last night at our pasta supper was kind of a old home week, a chance for people that haven't seen each other for a long time to pass by. And, it's fellowship, I guess, is what it is. And rather than walking by to stroll and seeing somebody on this other side of the building, there is something natural about food and fellowship and music and getting back together. And I thought that did that last night, and that sort of opened up some new channels of thoughts for me about what we might do next. We did, again, the police station interviews, the LCE graduation, and tonight I will give an award, the Mayor's Award. There's a ceremony at the Leominster High School in Aldrich Cousins Auditorium, and it will be the awards ceremony. And I get to do one every year. It's, for me, a big deal. It's an honor to be able to pick one student, to give this to one student. I'll be doing that this evening. I don't know if it's a surprise. In some years it's been, and others it hasn't, but I will keep that under my hat until next week. but it's a fun thing to do. It's very rewarding for me, and it's special. And so we'll be there tonight. And then on Saturday is graduation, and we'll be up there, and we'll get a chance to say a few words, very few. What I realize at graduation, it's a time to sort of reflect, for students to think about their last 12 years, what the future is, sort of looking around at the 400 other students that might be there thinking, or their teachers, about just, when will I see them again? How do I stay in contact with them? And how do I sort of hold on to those memories and bring those experiences and memories with me? And some will be leaving the community to other jurisdictions and learning. Others will join the military. All kinds of things that students will be doing. It's a day of reflection. So I think we've reduced this down to you can only have so many speeches, the student speeches, and those are great, but outside influences, etc. I'm not sure what role that plays. So I have very few words that I will share, but I will and get a chance to thank and congratulate each of the graduates. So that's a mouthful. I'll take a little bit of a drink of water. June 3rd, that's coming up this Monday at 6:30 in the auditorium. MassDOT, which again I'm part of, is having listening sessions, public meetings, and it's part of their capital investment plan. MassDOT and the MBTA will spend approximately $20 million in transportation investments over the next 5 years. Most people in Massachusetts are unaware of the capital planning process and don't participate in conversations about where transportation funding should be prioritized. I am the voice of that, but this is a good opportunity for everybody to show up at Leominster City Hall, the auditorium, at the John F. Tater Auditorium, and get a chance to listen to what's going on, but also talk about some of the things that you would like to see. Your voice is important at MassDOT. Again, all the information that I hear, not only from members of our community, but from the region, I take back with me to those meetings. All citizens across the Commonwealth are encouraged to participate. June 3rd, right over at the Leominster City Hall Auditorium, and then they're going off to Roxbury on June 4th, and then Worcester June 5th, and Springfield June 6th, and that will sum it up. They'll put a whole plan together based on those listening sessions, so if you don't miss it. Early Chinese migrants in Massachusetts with the speaker, Dr. Anthony W. Lee, part of what we just discussed with the staff at the Leominster Public Library. That's Wednesday, June 5th at 7 o'clock. So those are coming up. Don't miss that. And here we are. I was just speaking to the fact that Troop 477 will be hosting their 45th anniversary.
Dean?
Yes.
A couple viewers called in and wanted to let you know that the woman who turned 103 was not Betty Ingerson, but rather
that's
Helen
right.
Bellevue.
Yes. I don't know why, but the original certificate is that's what it said. I don't know why it said that, but we did correct it on the citation. I don't know why it wasn't corrected here.
Betty was the one who invited you.
Betty, thank you for the invitation. Sorry about that. I will stand corrected. Thank you for helping me out with that. That means somebody's watching tonight. So
the phones are off the hook.
Hello to everybody at 100 Main Street. They are an active group. In fact, we had a discussion the other day. At one time, they had built 100 Main Street and also LaPierre on 161 Spruce Street. And very limited parking. Why? Well, the only people that really drove at the time were staff and a few of residences. Today, the residents that live in those buildings are very active, very active. They don't stay put very long. They are out in a moment's notice. In fact, we have our snowblower. One of the first places they go in the morning is from 100 Main to, say, Dunkin' Donuts and the post office in that downtown area, because they don't sit home anymore and wait for the snow to melt. They are very active and have so many hobbies and interests. So we thank them, and they are a major part of our community. So I'm sorry for that mistake. Please forgive me. I do have some good pictures of her, and I will share with them next week. And again, thanks for the invitation to come. That was a great day. So Troops 477 is having their 45th anniversary reunion. There are people out there that were part of the first Troop 477, and they encourage you to come back. The event will include an open house, a lunch, and court of honor. For more information, you can contact by email troop477leominster@gmail.com. And that is going to be held, I'm not sure where, but it is their 45th anniversary of Troop 477. It's Saturday, June 8th. And if anybody's watching and can tell me where this is actually going to be, I don't know if it's going to be at Carter Park or not, but it kind of looks like it is, or maybe at Barrett. Let me know. And the Great Futures 5K Run and Walk, June 9th, the Boys and Girls Club. And let's see, location 365 Lindell Ave. Race day is, registration is at 9. Race start time is at 10:30. Pre-registration fee is adults $30, seniors $10 if you're 60 years and older. But you can run and walk. And so we will see you out there. Resume and interview skills workshop. I would love to speak at their forum. It's going to be June 23rd, Sunday. Registration 12 to 1. Presentation 1 to 2. Practice 2 to 4. And refreshments will be provided. This is really well done. They do a great job. Bring your resume or build a resume right there. Everybody is welcome. Portfolios gifted to the first, or Padfolios gifted to the first 15 attendees. The presenter is Natasha Saunders. She's got an MBA and an MS, certified career coach from Harvard Kennedy School. This is great. I don't think there's any cost to it. So really, you really want to sort of polish up on that resume and interview skills. Things have changed. People are looking for things that are a little bit different. So you want to know what's going on? Coming up extremely, extremely, extremely soon is the National Pink Flamingo Day. We had to hold it inside last year because it rained. It's Wednesday, June 5th. It's coming up. Oh no, this is at the library. Wednesday, June 5th, I will be reading. Kids age 12 and under and their families are welcome to attend. Guest reader will be me. Fun flamingo activities and games. Registration is required. Begins on 5/29, which was yesterday. So get hopping. Now, let me find my list of events. Here's what you need to know, and mark them down. Write them down with your fingers here. I don't know. Find a pen. Write them in your phone. Summer Stroll, June 8th this year, early. June 23rd, Pink Flamingo Day. That's the day that was actually inside. We'd really like to have it outside. We're going to give an award this year to that person who is like the person that does everything Pink Flamingo. They wear pink, just everything they do, everything in their house. You know, the most enthusiastic person when it comes to Pink Flamingo. That's June 23rd. August 8th, Ladies' Night Out. August 24th, Kids' Day. September 14th, Citywide Yard Sale. Again, September 15th, Food Truck Festival. September 21st, Johnny Appleseed Festival. So those are all things you need to know about. But June 8th is the Summer Stroll, and that's coming up really, really, really quickly. Other events you can find on our Facebook. Mine, you can get it on the City of Leominster, Leominster Community Development. There are a bunch of ways that you can find that information. Sholin Farms has this really great guide out now. They talk about everything you need to know, including a map. If you get up there, you know, the trail stewards have done a great job, and local staff have done a great job to encourage, people to use our trails. But, not everybody, including myself, ever knew which properties you belong on. So sometimes you're walking on the trail and it takes sort of a right. And you're like, I'm not sure I belong on that property, because we have trails that go through people's properties that we've brought easements. We purchased easement through. So get on our website. You can go to a bunch of different places, but you can go to the Recreation Department at Sholin Farms, and they will help you out with that. Two things left before I run out of time. One, if you live in the North Street area, if you commute in the North Street area, and I mean driving up Main Street, taking a left, not taking a right towards the ice cream place, Cherry Hill Farm. So you'd be going left, which would probably be going north west. If that's the section you live on, you have a business, you're going to go visit a business, I use that to commute. They have started to regrinding the roads. Now remember, they started to do the catch basins and sort of lift those. The structures are done. They're regrinding it and remilling. Basically what we mean is all those layers of pavement over the last 150 years are all going to be taken out, grind them down, put a new subsurface, then a base, then a middle layer, and then a top finish coat. That's all started. They're going to work. They're going to continue on. It means sometimes they'll have to close certain sections of the road. It means detours. It means sometimes they'll go down to one lane. But we're doing everything we can to keep those businesses open. So please don't think that the jewelry store or some of those businesses that are up there are closed. They're not. We're keeping them open the whole time during construction. The other thing that I wanted to say, I don't want to sort of gloss over it, but we have a number of projects here in the city. We have a ton of projects in the city, and be patient with us. Those are good things. I know somebody posted something on Facebook the other day about, all the construction going on and the gas company, and we make holes and we fill them, and this is progress. This is updating our infrastructure, and very important and critical to the future of the city, right? The last piece. Last weekend, it was a very beautiful weekend. We had a great weekend. All of our fields, ones that we rent out, ones that we let people use, were all filled. The deck hockey rink was filled. All of our trails were filled. The splash park down at Fournier Field, just packed from Friday on, and we opened it on Saturday. From Saturday on, it was packed. It looked like there was this big event down there. That's what it was. It's that splash park. It gets so much use. Anyway, when people are on our trails, when they're biking, this is why the rail trail is so important. These bring in dollars to local businesses, and they stop at our restaurants, they stop at our other businesses, they stay in our hotels. When these tournaments are going on, those tournaments that you see at the soccer fields in Lancaster, there are no hotels in Lancaster. There are a few, food industries, and there's gas. But let me tell you, go up to Orchard Hill Park, get down to the mall, even some of the small mom and pops around the city and sandwich places and pizza places. It brings in a substantial amount of money in a weekend like we just passed, that we just experienced. It is a substantial amount of money that it brings in, especially the people staying in the hotels. They have to eat here, they shop here. Think about when you're traveling, when you're going somewhere. Do you actually go to one place and just stay there all the time? No, you want to sort of venture out and see what the other, what the community has to offer. You look at the brochures at the hotel, and you venture out to come to the restaurants and to venture out to other amenities in the area and look at some of the historic spots. And that's exactly what happens here. And I think all the time, everyone thinks, why would anybody come to Leominster? What is there to see here? Believe me, there's plenty, and people enjoy it. And we see the response and the feedback that we get back at City Hall through social media especially. So Carl is giving me it's time to close off. And thank you to the crew that comes here each and every Thursday night to be with us. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. You must show up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you through the generous support of Colonial Insulation Company, residential and commercial insulation and fireproofing services, specializing in blown-in cellulose as well as spray foam insulation. For more information, visit their website, colonialinsulation.com.